Yes, yes, y'all. Yes, 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 y'all. Welcome back to another episode of the Klyph Notes podcast. This one was really dope. Had an opportunity to chop it up with the homie Jabee, Five Se7en Collective, and we talked about his latest release. The world is so fragile and cruel. I'm glad I got you. Plus, we talked about a whole bunch of other stuff, man. This is a really good conversation. I think you're gonna dig it. Talked about his career and other things that he's involved in. We told the story of the interview that we were doing during the Welcome to the Neighborhood radio show that got cut short. Now you get to find out the rest of the story, man. It's crazy times in which we're living. But shout out to my man Jabee for jumping on the podcast. I really think you're gonna. I know you're gonna dig this one. This was a really good conversation. I felt like we could have gone on and on, man. So much that he has to share with his career. So yeah, man, sit back and get ready to enjoy this one. At the end of the podcast, stay tuned. I'll give you an update of some events that are happening that you might want to plug into. But in the meantime and in between time, check out this episode of the Klyph Notes podcast with my homie, Jabee. Support for the Klyph Notes podcast comes from Acapella Apparel, an idea born from a love of hip-hop, funk, and soul music and its surrounding cultures. With fashion being a huge visual part of the cultures, they've created expressive images to pay homage, invoke nostalgia, and showcase the elements that make up the lifestyle and cultures of these genres. Acapella, apparel for the music lifestyle. For more information, check out acapella.com. That's AKEPELE.com.
Ladies and gentlemen, the show you're about to listen to may contain explicit content. So guess what? You need to put them babies to sleep. This is for grown folks only. So we're not held liable for anything you might be offended by. Thank you for listening.
Yes, yeah. Welcome back to another episode of the Klyph Notes podcast. You know what it is, available everywhere you listen to your podcast: Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, and of course at cliffnotes.com. Excited to have this conversation, man. I'm gonna give y'all behind the scenes. Like, the conversation been going for like the last 5 minutes. But it's so dope to have this cat just sit and chop it up. I feel really, really honored and blessed to be connected with him. Shout out to my guy Darrell, who really made the assist on connecting us a minute ago. And we just been building over the years, man. But let me have you go ahead and introduce yourself, homie.
What's up? My name is Jabee from Oklahoma City.
It's good with you, bruh.
What's up, man? I'm chilling. How are you?
Man, I'm really good, man. I said it on the radio show, but again, I just want to say how much I appreciate you coming out last year and doing the fundraiser for X-Ray FM for the radio station, man. That meant a lot to have you rock like that and doing it for the love, man. That was really dope, B.
Yeah, that was fun, man. Hopefully we can get back to doing that kind of stuff some more. You know, I definitely want to come back out there.
That's what's up, bro. That's what's up, man. You've been busy, and it's kind of crazy how things happen because, like I said, once again, shout out to Darrell for making the connect. We've been building, and then we're also connected through the 5-7 Collective now. You know what I mean? It's just it's nuts how big the world is, yet how small it is, and it's just cool to be able to connect with people who are like minded, doing like minded things, man.
Yeah, no doubt, man. Yeah, I've known Darrell probably since I was 17, 18, you know what I mean? Like, he's such a good dude, always been like a brother, you know, and so we were actually right before all this stuff happened, we were talking about coming coming back out there and just kicking it with him and like, just hanging out. Cause I've been to Portland before, but that was my first time like coming and getting to hang out some.
Yeah.
And man, I loved it so much, bro. Like, I want to take my kids, bro.
That's what's up. That's what's up, man. Well, look, yeah, man, when this thing blows over, man, definitely would love to have an opportunity to connect and maybe do some things your next trip out this way, bro.
Yeah, for sure.
Hey, man, but you be staying busy, man. Right now we're really bumping your latest release, The World is So Fragile and Cruel. I'm glad I got you. that album, man, is it's similar to, I think it's similar to me to some of the other projects that you've released in the past, but it seems so so personal. Like this album seems so
Yeah,
personal, maybe more so than stuff I've heard from you before.
yeah.
Is that like, was did you go into creating this project with that in mind, or was that just a part of the creative process? That's just what happened.
I think it's a little bit of both. Um, like for instance, my last album came out 2016. Before that, it was 2013. So it takes me some time to actually like live life and go through some things before I put an album out. So a lot of it does end up being personal, and a lot of it, it's just me like just looking at what's around me too. But yeah, there's a lot of life that I feel like that needs to be lived whenever it comes to like me put out an album. So it might take me, 3 or 4 years before it comes out because you know, that's what the album is, that's what I write about, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, and that's, I think that's one of the things it does come across. I don't think, I know it absolutely does come across when we listen to your music. We hear who you are as an individual. We hear your life experiences, and then we hear how those life experiences influence how you move, which I think is really dope. Um, so we had an opportunity to do a interview on Welcome to the Neighborhood on X Ray a few weeks back, and the interview got cut short. And we will talk about what happened.
Yeah, so I put on this Juneteenth festival in the city, and it was all love, bro. Like it was a beautiful day. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I went on. The last band was like this old school band from the east side. Like they do a bunch of covers. They had, you know what I'm saying? It's like they had like horns and everything. So it was like they were like the headliners right after me. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
And it was like old people. You know what I'm saying? By that time, it was just old people and kids out there dancing
yeah.
to the Commodores and stuff like that. You know what I'm
Word,
saying?
word, word.
And so that's when I went in to do the interview. And before the interview, I kind of just walked around just to catch the vibe. It was a good vibe. People was chilling, dancing. People was coming to me, man, this is dope. Good job. We gotta do it again next year. You know what I'm saying? And so when I would there's where we were is on the east side, and there's a it's like the hood. You know what I'm saying? It's the black side of town, and it used to be a big club, like one of the biggest clubs in the city. Like back in the day, whenever I was a kid, it would be like where all the rappers went. You know what I'm saying, to perform, and you always had like shootouts stuff over there. And so it's been closed down for like 15 years.
A
And
word.
then on the end of that little strip is like a bookstore owned by this older black lady. And so we had the festival in front of her bookstore, and so her bookstore was kind of like the green room. You know what I'm saying?
Yep, yep.
So I was in the bookstore talking to you, and I just heard pop, 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 and then I see people just running in, running in. You know what I'm saying, in the bookstore.
Yeah.
And so my first thought was, okay, because it wasn't that bad. Whenever I was on the phone,
Uh-huh.
my first thought was, I probably know who it is. Let me run out there and try to, you know what I'm saying, get him out of here, or you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And so I go outside, and the stage was like in front of the store. And so like I go into the side of the stage, and it was a big stage, like a big platform. And like I see like one of the singers, this lady like coming down the stairs on her stomach, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, and then the whole crowd is either like gone or on the ground. And so it kind of stopped. And so I can't remember if that was when I came back and told you or what, but they started shooting again.
Oh, snap.
And so I think they started shooting again. And I came back and told you they were shooting. I go back outside, and they're like, somebody got hit. Somebody got hit. He leaking. So I run down to where he was at,
Mm-hmm.
and I guess, and while I'm running, they start shooting again. And so I guess whenever I got to where he was at, he was like hanging out outside of the car, and I guess somebody was helping him in the car,
Yeah,
and probably when they started shooting, they just dropped him and like ran for cover. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, yeah.
And so he's like hanging out the car, like halfway. There's somebody in the driver's seat, somebody in the front passenger seat. Me and this other dude, these other dudes come out, and we put him in the car and tell him, get him to the hospital. And then not even like 15 minutes later, the police just showed up, start taking stuff off. But man, then that dude ended up passing away too.
Oh, bro.
But man, like I was so mad, man, because it was such a good vibe, man. And usually, I mean, like there's probably been very few. Usually, the Juneteenth event is put on by the radio station,
Hmm.
but they had canceled it this year because of COVID. And so, um, myself and some of the people who run like the local Black Lives Matter group decided to do one ourselves,
Hmm.
and and then we were gonna cancel it and go to Tulsa. That's where Trump was.
Hmm.
We were like, man, no, let's just stay here. Let's do it. You know what I'm saying? And so it was really just good vibes, and I was just so let down. And news was calling me and all this crazy stuff, and people is tripping and mad at the organizers, and I'm like, really? I'm like, really? We did everything right. We could have did. No, we could. There's nothing we could have done. Plus, I can't remember many of our Juneteenths that we've had where it wasn't no shooting. Not that that's okay,
Right.
but people act like it's something new. You know what I'm saying? And but on top of that, they were saying like, well, it should have, because by that time it was like 11 o'clock. You know what I'm saying? And they were saying it should have been over at 8. You shouldn't go that long. I'm thinking everything else in the city go to 11. Every other music festival, the country music festival, the reggae festival, all of them joints be, you know what I'm saying? Like nobody, you know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
we should be able to hold ourselves to the same standard and be able to do the same thing. You know what I'm saying? When I play a festival in Norman, they let them bands go on till 1 o'clock. You know what I'm saying, at night.
Yeah.
Outside. So, nah, we not. We need to have better expectations for ourselves and not just think, it's okay to live like that and do that stuff. But it was wild, man. I'm just glad it's over. But I'm definitely planning on doing it again next year.
Wow, B. That's nuts, man. And but unfortunately, that's consistent with what we see. I think when it comes to like doing hip hop shows, where the standard um, is not equal with other shows in terms of what's allowed, and it's really unfortunate that um, it's unfortunate that that happened. It's unfortunate that that man lost his life. But I'm glad to know that you feel comfortable, confident in wanting to do it again because events like that are obviously needed, man. Especially in the
Yeah,
times in which we live in.
yeah, I agree. And that was the thing. I had so many people who helped with it and, help with the sponsors and stuff like that, and I just felt like, man, I felt like we had to do it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like it's Trump was in Tulsa having his party. We you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, yeah.
so yeah, it needed to be done. I think, there'll be things that we do different next year to help that we saw that we could probably change and tweak,
Mhm, mhm.
but even if the radio station does theirs next year, we're gonna still do ours and do it. I don't know if I'm gonna use the same location, but we'll definitely still do it.
That's what's up. But I think I asked you this on the interview, but I want to ask again. Um, the title of the title of the album, "The World Is So Fragile and Cruel." I'm glad I got you. First, I think it's dope that the title of the album says so much, but it says so much. Be like you don't get to hear albums with that longer titles. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think I just have a thing for long titles. Like my last album, Black Future was the short version of the title. The long version was, um, in the Black Future. There's a place so fragile. Wait, and man, don't get me messing it up. It's long, it's long, but but with this one, I was trying to decide if I wanted to just stick with Fragile and Cruel
Mhm.
or I'm Glad I Got You, and I felt like I just went ahead and didn't shorten it because I wanted the full message to be uh to be seen. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Um, and so I think that anytime I remember being in Best Buy one time whenever people was buying CDs, right?
yeah.
And there was a lady there with her kid, and he wanted her to buy, like, this was years ago, man.
Mhm,
And it was a white lady and a white kid,
mhm,
and the so he wanted her to buy like G Unit or something like that,
mhm.
and the kid was probably like 11 to 12. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And she was like, "Hey, do you know anything about this album? Is it good for an 11-year-old or whatever?"
Yeah.
And I was like, "Yeah, it's dope, you know."
Hmm.
But and she was like, "Well, but would you? Is you think I should buy for my son? I don't know that much. He's into rap, and I don't know that much about rap. Or is there anything else you would suggest?"
Yeah.
And I said, "Man, if it was my kid, I would look at it like this." And so I picked up. It's so crazy. I picked up. What's the group Fonte had with
Little brother or foreign exchange.
Foreign Exchange?
Yeah.
So it was whenever the first Foreign Exchange album came out, Connected.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I said, well, uh I said, well, you could just go by the song titles. You know what I'm saying? That's what I would do.
Yeah.
And so I said, I'm listening to I like both of these albums, but right now this album is really helps me get through my day job. And I said, this is why. And so I turned them both to the back,
Hmm.
and I just read the list of song titles,
Hmm.
and she was just like, just by the song titles, happiness. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like all this stuff. Like, and she was just like, dang, okay. So she ended up buying her kid the Foreign Exchange album. You know what I mean? Just based off the titles of the songs.
Yeah.
And so I always think about that whenever I'm putting out music, because, you know, I think that that's so important, how you title your music, how you title your songs, because you know, that's the part that when it off first glance what people remember.
Hmm.
And so whenever I title my albums, I try to you have something that people can relate to and people can take ownership of. And so with this one, I was like, man, like I know what it means to me, but I know that it can mean a whole bunch of different things to everybody else. And so my idea was, I'm glad I got you. This world's so fragile and cruel. I'm glad I got you. I wanted this album to be like a it could like you could take it and give it to your homeboy as a gift card, as a thank you letter, and be like, here, bro, I'm glad I got you. You know what I'm saying? Take it
Right.
and give it to your cousin and be like, man, like we've been through a lot, bro. Here's this CD. I'm glad I got you. You know what I'm saying? So so that's what that was with that one.
That's what's up.
And Black Futures, I had to Google my album, but Black Future, uh, the Black Future full title was "In the Black Future, There's a Place So Dangerously Absurd."
Okay.
So
Okay. That's crazy though. But you know what though, bro? Like the other thing is you release a lot of music, yo. Like we talk about albums, but singles and EPs and this, that, and the third. Which
yeah,
means that you're forever creating, you're forever writing, which I think is dope.
yeah, I you know I have there's a couple of reasons. One is you gotta be like you like the way the music is now. Like my album came out what like 2 3 weeks ago,
Hmm.
and next month it'll be old. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like, you know, I think about those things. It didn't used to be like that, you
Mm.
know. So I think about that, but I also know that for every one album I put out, somebody's putting out like 4 or 5 of them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so not that I'm trying to keep up, but I just know like the average listener doesn't have the same attention span as they used to. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
So and there's always going to be somebody who hasn't heard of me, who hasn't heard a song. I could put, this was the biggest selling album I've had out of all the albums, just in the first couple of weeks it's been out. But but still, I could put an album out next week, and there'll be people who haven't even heard this one. You know
Right.
what I'm saying?
Right.
So
It, when people have an opportunity now to go back and look at your catalog and see the times in which we're living, I mean, I think as an old head man, I'm aware of the fact that what we're seeing now happening in society, this is obviously nothing new. And
yeah,
you've been able to sort of take this theme and run it through your music for years, man. But um, because I think of everything else that's happening around us right now, there's a heightened awareness to a certain degree. So does that have any impact on you now to know that, man? Like I've been telling y'all, I've been trying to tell y'all for years, man, and y'all, some of y'all are listening now, but some of y'all still ain't listening.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep telling y'all till it click. You know what I'm saying? Uh,
Word up.
so I think about that a lot. You know, somebody was saying the other day, somebody here locally was saying how like all these rappers are like, trying to ride like the Kendrick and J. Cole wave and be super conscious and and talking about black power this or uplifting black people that and putting Black Panthers on their shirts and all this stuff. And I was like, man, like for one, why is that a bad thing? You know what I'm saying? Like we should be happy people are finally like being enlightened and like growing up and growing out of like, the old ways, you know what I'm saying? And two, um, me, that's all I've ever done. You know what I'm saying? So like, when that I was doing it when people were saying it was preachy. I was doing it when people were saying, I was backpack, too backpack, you know what I'm saying? Like all that stuff. I remember being at an event one time and as a matter of fact, it's the same dude who just texted me, saying telling me how much he liked my album. And and it was an event. He was the host, and something had happened in the middle of the show, and it was like this was probably like 10, almost 15 years ago, probably I was probably like 19.
Yeah.
And so something that happened in the show where like they were waiting on somebody or something. So I just grabbed the mic and I just started spitting like, you know what I'm saying, something like I spit, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah.
Like, and he grabbed the mic. Nobody ain't trying to hear that shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like nobody ain't trying to hear that preachy, like you know, black power shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
And like cut me off. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if I can cuss, but
Yeah. We on the podcast. You straight?
okay. And so, but now that same person was texting me and giving me props on my album whenever I haven't none of the I mean like I might be a better rapper than I was when I was 19, but the content is still the same. The ideas behind what I'm talking about haven't hasn't changed.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
That's what's up, B. I wanted to ask you about a couple joints. So you mentioned, like you said, man, you're gonna keep doing it till it click. Click is a joint. It's one of my favorites on the project. You got visuals for it. Um,
yeah,
that song is like everything about that song. I think is dope. But when you decided to do the visuals for that project, man, um, super like crazy powerful. First of
thank
all,
you.
especially some of the clips that you used of that really depict what the song is talking about. But then there's also an art piece in the visuals, a big art piece that says "Stop Killing Us."
Yeah.
Can you talk about that art piece, where that came from, how you used it in in the visuals, and then the response you've gotten overall just for that song?
Yeah, so I had a video scheduled that day. I was actually that was a Friday. I was gonna do a video for Praying Hands, and I had this idea of like, me working inside. I was gonna have my homegirl. She was gonna bring her snow cone truck. I was gonna like be selling snow cones, and then my homie pull up in a dope whip and pick me up from work. You know what I'm saying? Something like that. And so George Floyd, I think, got killed like that Wednesday. Might have been, but it was the same week George Floyd got killed. And so, that morning, that Friday morning, my homeboy texted me and he was like, "Man, we gotta do something, yo. This is a white dude, you know what I'm saying?"
Yeah,
And he was like, let's do the letters and put them up somewhere." And so I was like, "Yeah, let's just put them up." And then I was like, "Nah, let's put them up on the east side for where I live at, where I've been followed by the police. Let's put them up where police encountered the most black people." You know what I'm saying? And that spot used to be a grocery store, and there's a whole story behind the grocery store being torn down, and the east side being a food desert, and like all this crazy stuff.
yeah,
So it was really significant. And so I still had my homegirl pull up her snow cone truck. We gave out free snow cone to the kids in the community, and people just pulled up. We just shot a video as people were coming up and taking pictures, and talking about the sign, and the news started coming up and everything. It was really cool, man. And to this day, people ask where is it, where could they see it, and yeah, it was really, I think it was just on point. It was really good. It was tight.
That's what's up, bro. And again, just so powerful. And I'm glad that now we have that like forever for people to refer to again as an example of what you have done and what you continue to do.
Yeah.
I also wanted to ask you about the first joint on the project, the song "The Mirror," where you feature
Mhm.
propaganda on that joint, and it's interesting to me to listen to that song and then listen to um, the song the song you had Chuck D on. Both of those songs to me feel very much like uh, uh, an example of how you seem to surround yourself with people who encourage you, uh, uh, give you advice, wisdom, and and sort of help potentially shape your journey, which
Mhm.
is dope. But there again, a personal thing, man, and you choose to share that with us, and I think that that's cool. It seems like a vulnerable thing to do, but
Yeah.
is that a purposeful thing? Is that something that you seek out people who have that wisdom, or just people who are encouraging, people who are uplifting?
Yeah, and I mean, especially with propaganda, it's all like it's always been on a personal level. You know what I'm saying? Like he's somebody who encourages me on a personal level, who would tell me, bro, stop having babies. You know what I'm saying? Like stuff like that. You know
Yeah,
what I mean? He's been like a big brother. You know what I mean? And looked out for me. Um, so I so with that specific song, um, I wanted him to do it, but I just kind of gave him, an idea of what I had, but he took it and ran with it. Totally, like whenever I heard, because he had took so long to send it back to me.
uh-huh.
I had wrote a rap, and the end that song was something different. Different, and
Yeah,
so he sent me that right before I sent the album in, and like it just shook me. I was just like, dang, like, but a lot of those things that he says he on there, he said to me personally. So it's not like nothing was just like I was surprised to hear, but I was surprised to hear him, actually record it and put it out that way. So I knew that, and then I was thinking about the album. And I was like, wow, like he kind of you know, brought it full circle, you know what I mean? And it was just the perfect way. And I feel like he kind of put everything I talk about on the album into that intro, you know what I mean? And yeah, so, and then I think about the Chuck D thing. That was something that I wanted him to do for sure.
yeah,
And I wanted him to be who Chuck D is to me, you know what I'm saying? Because um, I mean, I'll be honest, like I'm kind of young to like have been like a big Public Enemy fan, you know what I'm saying, like in the '80s and stuff. But so like I definitely knew who Chuck D and Flavor Flav was, but the like the song I remember as far back I remember Chuck D is probably He Got Game, you know what I'm
hmm
saying? So before that, it was just like it was more or less I just knew what he stood for as a rapper. I didn't really know his music like that. You know what I'm saying? So as I got older, of course, I educated myself and I appreciate it a whole lot more than I did as a 16, 17 year old. But whenever we would talk, it was always just that, and um it's just always just been him, encouraging me and showing me love. So I just want him to be that, you know what I mean, on that song,
that's
and
what's up.
I guess that's real similar to, what I wanted from Prop too. So
Yeah, and that, like I said, that's what comes across when I heard what Prop did on the Mirror. When you think about, for me, when I think about that and think about the longevity of Public Enemy, the message that they had and that they consistently have had in their music, and then it's music that stands the test of time, right? I mean, we still celebrate joints that they released way back, in the '80s, late
Yeah.
'80s and '90s. Is that something that you think about when you're creating music, trying to create timeless music?
All the time, all the time. The first time I ever heard somebody say the word timeless about music was it was my first time in New York. And I was with my homies and we were walking down the street and we saw DJ Alamo from Brand Nubian
Yeah, yeah.
and I was just like, dang, that's Alamo, yo. And so this was right after Foundation, that album Foundation that came out. And so I'm like, yo, like, I'm probably like 16, and I'm like, yo, when's the next album? What do I remember him saying something like, oh, I don't know, we might go back in the studio and rework some stuff. We got like one timeless drum in there, so we got to go back. I remember like that just stuck with me. I was like, timeless, dang, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Hmm.
I never thought about that, you know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? Like, and so now like I'll be listening to a song, like I might listen to Crossroads by Bone Thugs,
hmm,
right? And I was sitting there thinking like how it must have felt to like walk out of the studio and hear that and be like, we did that. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like this song gonna live on. You know what I'm saying? Like this is a song that will outlive us. You know what
yeah,
I mean?
yeah.
Um, so yeah, so I think about that. I think about that. I don't know if I've ever done it yet, but I just know like, that is definitely something that I think about, and especially now in the times we live in, the climate of music, it's just, it's not about making a timeless song, it's about making something that fits the time today.
Word.
So that's why you hear all these songs that sound the same because they're trying to like sound they're trying to sound like whatever's popping today. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But you got people like shoot people might hate to hear it, but people like Drake who understand like you know the word timeless and how like making a song that will outlive you, you know
Hmm.
what I mean, and just not what's cool right now, so yeah, I definitely think about that. I don't know if I've ever done it, but yeah, I just like think about it, like even songs like not even rap songs, but I think like probably like the most timeless song that I can think of is Unchained Melody by
Mm.
the what's the brothers called? I can't think of the group. It's two white boys,
Hmm.
but that song is from what, the 40s? You know what I'm saying?
40s or 50s?
50s,
Yeah, yeah,
something like that. You
yeah,
know what I'm
yeah.
saying? And if you put it on right now, people still feel the same way they felt whenever it first came out. You know what I'm saying? Like, or when doves cry. You know what I'm saying? Like those songs, like they'll forever be, a go-to for somebody at some point. So so yeah, I always think about that. I especially when I'm listening to like rappers now, I'm just thinking, man, like what you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know.
No, I feel you, B. I feel you. Well, that you mentioned that this so far is the biggest selling album if you've had thus far, just in the first few weeks of it being released. One of the cool things that you're doing with this is that the merch that you have associated with it is crazy. I know that recently you released a little visual of the die cut vinyl
Yeah,
that you waiting on. Be like you really went in on on the merch with this one, bro. It looks really good.
yeah, yeah, man. I was just, I'm like, I want to do everything because my 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 plan when I was recording this album was to try and shop it to a label. Because I was talking to uh Rhyme Sayers a little bit. I was
Mhm.
talking to Sadiq about it, and I was sending him songs, um, and I talked to Mike and Mello a little bit. You know what I'm saying? So my plan was make an album. One of them are gonna like it. They'll buy it, put it out, and I'll have them. I did all the heavy lifting. All they gotta do is pay for the merch. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And so whenever I realized that wasn't gonna happen, I was just like, I'm just gonna do everything I ever wanted to do with this album. Every piece of merch I've ever wanted to do, I'm gonna do.
Yeah.
And so I just set out to do it, and I'm still thinking of things I can do. I did a beer.
Oh,
I'm
word.
yeah, I did a Fragile and Cruel beer. We did it was a collab with the brewery here. We sold that out in like 3 days. You know what I'm saying? Um, I have an event today with a soft serve ice cream. We did a whole ice cream flavor, Fragile and Cruel ice cream flavor. I'm going over there today because today is National Ice Cream Day. uh, I did what else? I did, of course, the vinyl cassettes. I did an art installation. Um, I have another beer coming out with a different company, a different style, a different brand. We're gonna do like some glasses and stuff like that. So you know, um, just really, and to be honest, a lot of it was the pandemic too. Was just thinking like the art installation. Like had we not gone through been in the pandemic and me not been able to do an album release show, I wouldn't have thought of doing an art installation. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Right.
That so yeah, a lot of it was just trying to be extra creative and working with what little I had.
Well, one of the things that I've been saying with the pandemic, especially, is that I think for a lot of creatives, it's really gonna push people to not sort of rest on their laurels. That people are really gonna have to think outside the box when they're making music. And how do I get that music out there? How do I keep things interesting when I can't actually get out and touch my fans like I normally would when I was on stage?
Yeah,
And so I think the benefit that comes from that is when and if this thing does move where people can get back on stages, it, now people have different avenues that they can continue to
yeah,
use, and that I think has the potential to really change the industry, which I think is dope. Um, as an
yeah.
art,
And
go ahead. Sorry,
no, no, no. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was just gonna
As an
say, so with that, as an independent artist, the way that you've been, um, you know, do you feel like that gives you a leg up because you've been doing it this way for a minute, right? You haven't had the big machine behind you, and yet you've had a level of success.
Yeah.
So using that
So
creativity,
so two things, I think I have a leg up too because I started putting out music and doing stuff before the internet. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like a lot of people who came up in that generation, pre social media, you had to promote and get your name out there other ways. You couldn't just rely on, retweets and stuff like that. And you couldn't be spamming, people and telling them, you know what I'm saying? Like you had to like actually get out and meet people face to face and stuff like that. So I think I have a leg up, in that sense because there's an extra element that I understand a little bit more. But I think that for all of us, it kind of puts us on more level playing field. You know what I'm saying with these bigger names and with these rappers. I mean, look, they're doing verses on what's it called, verses on Instagram,
yeah, yeah,
and they on there and they can't get the sound right. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I mean? They on our level now. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? Like they
yeah,
dealing with the issues that we deal with now. You know what
yeah,
I mean?
yeah,
So like I think for that reason, you can really like make bigger strides right now because you know uh we're on a little bit more of a level playing field, and we should use it, and we should take advantage of where we're at right now because they can't use all their muscle that they usually would right now. You know what I mean? Like they're in our backyard right now with not being able to do certain things. You know what I mean?
yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah,
No doubt. One of the things that people get an opportunity to see in all the music that you put out is your faith, man. I mean that's something that's at the forefront. I shouldn't say at the forefront, but I mean it's a part of
yeah.
everything creative that you do. In times like this, that's got to be. I don't know. What does that mean to you to be able to lean on your faith in times like this?
It just really it's just a source of strength. I always, I always tell people like, regardless of what I go through, what I deal with, my faith remains firm. And I've seen and been through a lot, but I think that in these times, it's important that not only you have faith, but you express your faith because people need to hear it. People are going through and dealing with so much right now, and I think that faith is lacking in our culture. Period. And I think that um, we have a misinterpretation or misunderstanding or miseducation of what it means to have a faith. That doesn't mean that you're religious or anything.
Right.
I'm saying it means that there is something that keeps you grounded. You know what I'm saying? And there's something for you to lean on in hard times. You know what I mean? And so yeah, I think that's just important, um, and I do the best I can to continue to express that because at the end of the day, man, like I'm gonna be gone. You know what I mean? And my words and my character and things like that will be how people remember me. You know what I'm saying? And and I want to make sure that they know, like, where I stand. You know what I mean? So,
No
and
doubt.
it's not, gray area of, well, what did he believe, and this and that. You know what I mean? So,
And I think that I asked the question that way because I feel like right now there are so many people who feel hopeless when you look at,
yeah,
the pandemic, and then you look at the social unrest, and then you look at like everything else that's happening around our world, and sort of the domino effect that that has. And so to be
mhm,
able to give people encouragement that way, I think is, or for people to see how you're encouraged by that, I think can be a very powerful thing.
yeah,
Um, the last thing I want to ask you about, B, is so you released the album, but then you released this really powerful single just recently, titled "Until You're Free," featuring Julius Jones. Um,
yeah.
I think if people listen to the song, they get an opportunity to hear and understand the story. But for those who haven't heard it yet, can you talk about what that song is about and who Julius Jones is?
Yeah, so Julius Jones is a friend of mine, Oklahoma City. He was arrested, I want to say 99, convicted in 2000, 2001 of murder. His co-defendant was released, I think, a few years ago. Julius Jones is still in prison awaiting execution. Um, and um, for all in, for, I guess end of the day, like my belief and based on things that I've seen and things that and talking to him and so and just I mean like just being out here and knowing the story and things like that is that he's innocent. You know what I mean? And you know, there's it's I mean the hard part is it's obvious who did it and it's obvious that it wasn't him, and that he was set up. But the way you got if you understand Oklahoma and Edmond, Oklahoma, Oklahoma City in the late '90s and early 2000s, he was a black kid. They were um, the description was somebody black, a kid had killed a white man, and that's all you need to know, and so we had a district attorney who was notorious for um, sentencing black men to people, period, but mostly black men uh, to death and for execution. And Julius Jones is one of them. And there were so many things that went wrong at his trial. And so now there's a big push to that we're just trying to get him out, and get his sentence commuted. Um, it's so hard because um, they want to hold somebody accountable. You know what I mean? But the thing is, and I feel like they don't want to say they're wrong, or they got this one wrong. Um, and so Viola Davis did a documentary a year ago called The Last Defense, and it told his story. It was on ABC, and since then, I mean, everybody from Kim Kardashian, Common, everybody has been, advocating for him and, you know, pumping social media and trying to raise awareness. We got about 6 million signatures on a petition. Um, uh, so yeah, and so really, I had that song for my album, but I just decided not to put it on my album. I wanted it to. I didn't want it to get lost in the album,
Yeah.
and I wanted to make sure that people knew it wasn't about me. It was about him because he has a right now he has a really big platform. I mean, I think Vic Mensa was posting about him on Instagram. Um, I think he actually told me he talked to Vic Mensa on the phone. But at the end of the day, man, Oklahoma is second in the nation for incarcerating Black people. I think we're higher than that when it comes to executions and the executions of women. And it's just a tragedy, and it was a rush to justice, and uh, I feel like they know who did it, but they don't want to say that they got it wrong. The attorney general has kind of like doubled down and said, I don't care how many celebrities he gets on his side or not. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you know what I'm saying? Like just going out of his way to to kill this man. You know what I'm saying? And so yeah, that's where we're at. But
That's
it's hard
crazy.
to talk about, man. It's hard to talk about. I talk to him on the phone all the time. And I just can't imagine what it's like to know that you have the state of Oklahoma trying to kill you.
It's crazy, bro. Especially when you look at the history, um, it's the history of this country. But I just wanna give you props, bro, for using your platform the way that you do, to represent the underrepresented and um, using your voice in a way that using your voice for the voiceless. And um, I think having his voice on the piece is dope. If people wanna check it out, where should they go if they haven't heard it yet?
You can go. It's online. It's on all of the digital platforms. If you want to donate to the Justice for Julius and get the song, it's on my Bandcamp. All the proceeds will go to Justice for Julius campaign and uh, towards more criminal justice and prison reform efforts. So he has a really good team here and around the country who are doing some really great work for him. And so I'm just glad to kind of be a part of that and do what I can to share his story and let his voice be heard. It's so crazy. Right before I put the song out, we were talking on the phone, and he was saying, "Can you?" He was asking me not to post whenever we talk on the phone. He's like, if we talk, don't post it because people see it and he gets in trouble. You know what I mean? And and so I was kind of worried about putting that song out and anything happening to him, knowing that he's on it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
But I played it for his sister, his mom heard it, his dad heard it. They all loved it. He heard some of it. He loved it. So I feel good about it, man.
that's what's up, B. That's what's up. Chopping up with JB, man. So dope. I feel like I could talk to you for hours, man, just because of just who you are as an individual, but then just the stuff that you've done. I think is dope, and I think should be celebrated. But I just once again want to let folk know about the latest album that you got out. The world is so fragile and cruel. I'm glad I got you. You got some dope features on there. You got atmosphere on there. We already talked about having prop on there. Uh, Production from Static Selector, 88 keys. Like the project is
Thank you.
is fire, bro. It's
Yeah,
fire.
people were asking if that was Wale on We Got It. That is Wale.
Oh, word, word.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what's up. That's what's up, man. You were so like you're so connected and obviously so well respected by other artists. And that's obviously why people continue to rock with you. But I think a lot of it just has to do with your character as well, man. If people
Yeah, I
haven't
appreciate
copped it yet, where should they go? Not just to get the digital stream, man, but like if they trying to get the
yeah.
physical pieces, man, where
If
should
you
they go?
trying to if you trying to get the like the vinyl or CD or cassette or any of that stuff, you can go to my website. My name is jb.com. You can go to I have a link tree, which is just linktree backslash JB. I'm part owner of the Tower Theater, and we have them there on our website, the Tower Theater OKC.com as well. We'll have them in their store. So yeah,
That's what's up, B. And then before the pandemic, B, like weren't you about to open a restaurant or something?
yeah, I still am. I still am. We're about 10 weeks out. The pandemic definitely set us back some, but we'll be open hopefully in about 10 weeks.
That's crazy, yo. That's crazy. Because I know, I know when you came up here, you were saying like that you enjoy going and checking out different food spots. So I think it's dope that you can have your own
Yeah,
spot, B.
yeah, definitely, man. I'm
Uh,
excited. I'm also doing there's a guy here in Norman who actually gifted me a food truck.
oh, word.
And yeah, and so he's a really cool dude. He just wanted to bless me and use it for the community and things like that. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use it for like different caterers and chefs and different restaurants, and we'll do like a pop up with that food truck, and we'll do like a percentage will go to they'll get to pick a nonprofit, and the percentage of their sales will go towards a nonprofit. But yes, I'm excited about that too because I have a lot of friends who are chefs or who cook and they do like house deliveries and things like that. They don't have like a place to set up and sell food. You know what I mean? So I'll be able to help people out that way too. So I'm excited.
That's what's up, man. Chopping it with the homie JB, bruh. Look, I am so. I feel blessed to be connected with you, man, and so appreciate you jumping on the podcast, man. This was really
And
dope,
I'm
bro.
blessed to be connected with you, bro. Like you were saying before, man. Just like even with the 5 7, like all of that, like it's a it's a just a dope group, with and I guess a collective, but I think more or less like just almost like a brotherhood, you know what I mean? And everybody I've met so far has just been have just been like just so dope, and I just love how like we just look out for each other and support each other. So just being connected with you on that level is dope, bro. I appreciate it, man.
That's what's up, man. That's what's up. I am JB. Check out the latest project, World is So Fragile and Cruel. I'm glad I got you. Check them out all over social media, and just continue to support great artists making great music, man. I appreciate you, Doc.
All right, my brother, appreciate you.
All right, man. All right, y'all. So you know what it is, man. The Clip Notes podcast available everywhere you listen to your podcast: Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, and of course at cliffnotes.com. A couple of shout outs I got to give, man. Shout out to Acapella Apparel for their continued support of the Cliff Notes podcast. It's summertime. They got some dope summertime tees. You can check them out at acapella.com. That's AKEPELE.com. Also, big ups to X-Ray FM for their continued support of the Cliff Notes podcast. Check out the X-Ray FM podcast network at xraypod.com. And then last but never, ever least, go to my man, Theory Has It, for creating the official theme song for the Cliff Notes podcast. All right, y'all. Until we have an opportunity to do this again, God bless. Peace. Yo, shout out to JB. Such a dope conversation, man. That might go down as one of my favorite episodes of Cliff Notes, man. And yo, I want to give y'all an update on some other things that are going on. August the 1st, I'm doing a live stream with the homie DJ OG1. We're doing it live from the Holocene in Portland. Saturday Night Live, just me and OG1 playing joints for you, man. It's going to be a good time. Live streaming on Twitch and on YouTube, the Holocene Portland pages, man. So I'm really looking forward to that. Encourage you to plug into that one, man. We're just going to have a good time. Saturday Night Live, you know how we do. And then on August the 20th, we're kicking off Portland Hip Hop Week. Yes, it is going down, man. And we're going to kick it off with Mic Check PDX. Excited to have Bay Area MCs, a Bay Area Collective Grand National with a special performance just for Mic Check. And then also we have Northwest artist Big Wino and the Duchess live in the building. And then we're going to have, we're going to, honor an individual from Portland who's done some really cool things in the last year with Portland hip hop. So I encourage you to check into that. We're going to be live streaming that from McMenamin's Crystal Ballroom. You can check that out on Crystal Ballroom's Facebook page and possibly some other spots too, man. So you definitely want to stay tuned. Just stay plugged in to DJ Klyph Productions, DJ Klyph all over social media. But yeah, man, once again, thank y'all so much for supporting us in all kinds of ways. Just sharing the podcast. There's so much great information. Artists who we've had an opportunity to build with who have been very encouraging. And Jabee is definitely at the top of that list, man. So yeah, man, until next time, y'all be blessed. Peace.